Let's now begin this bulletin by putting the focus on the World Health Organization as well as its relationship with China. The WHO has now publicly always praised China's speedy response to the COVID-19 pandemic. But a new report by the Associated Press has found that China purposely delayed releasing the genetic map or genome of the deadly virus for over a week after multiple government labs had fully decoded it, frustrating even the World Health Body behind the scenes. In fact, it did not share details key to designing tests, drugs and vaccines. WHO officials were seen lauding China for transparency and impressive work. This was done to get access to more information or to prevent the crisis. But the recordings obtained by Associated Press show that privately WHO officials had complained in meetings around January 6th that China was not sharing enough data to assess how effectively the virus had in fact spread. According to multiple records found in internal documents and emails, the Chinese government labs only released the genome and other details after another lab published it ahead of authorities on a virologist's website on January 11th. Even then, China stalled for at least 2 weeks more in providing the WHO with detailed data on patients and cases. All at a time when the outbreak arguably might have been dramatically slowed down before it became a global contagion. In fact, recordings now show that tight controls on information and competition within the Chinese public health system were to blame for the delayed response. The story behind the early response to the pandemic comes at a time when the UN Health Agency is under siege. The US President Donald Trump has cut ties with the WHO after blasting the agency for allegedly colluding with China to hide the extent of this pandemic. But now this AP report has found that rather than colluding with China, the WHO was itself largely kept in the dark because China gave it only the minimal amount of information. The report does not support the narrative of either the US or China, but instead portrays an agency stuck in the middle that was urgently trying to solicit more data despite limits to its own authority.